If you ever hear a soft tapping on your window past midnight, don't move. Don't breathe. Just pretend you're asleep. I didn't. And now it knows my name. 4:42 nights, it came to my window. Always the same hour. Always the same sound. Like fingernails testing the glass, searching for a weak point. But last night, the glass didn't stop it. I'm leaving this recording because I need someone to understand. I need someone to believe me. And if you're hearing this, if you're listening in the dark right now, check your window. Make sure it's locked. Because once it knows you're listening, once it knows you believe, it'll come for you too. It started 6 weeks ago. October 3rd. I remember because that was the night I moved into the apartment. 7th floor. Corner unit. 2 windows in the bedroom. One facing east toward the street. One facing north toward nothing. Just darkness. Just the gap between buildings where streetlights don't reach. I liked it at first. Quiet. Private. The kind of place where you can finally hear yourself think. I should have known better. The first night, I didn't unpack much. Just the bed. A lamp. My phone charger. I was exhausted, the kind of tired that makes your bones ache. So I collapsed into bed around 11 p.m., didn't even close the curtains. That's when I heard it. Just once. So quiet I thought I imagined it. I opened my eyes, stared at the north-facing window. Saw nothing but darkness pressing against the glass. No branches. No birds. Nothing that could have made that sound. I told myself it was the building settling. Old pipes. Temperature changes. The rational explanations we tell ourselves when we're alone in the dark. I went back to sleep. The second night, it happened again. 11:47 p.m. I know because I checked my phone this time. 2 taps. Slower. More deliberate. Like someone testing to see if I was awake. I sat up in bed, staring at that window. The darkness outside seemed thicker somehow. Like it had weight. Like it was pressing against the glass, trying to get in. I got up, walked to the window, put my hand on the glass. Cold. So cold it hurt to touch. But there was nothing out there. Just the void between buildings. Just empty air 7 stories above the ground. No leg. No fire escape. Nothing for anyone or anything to stand on. I locked the window. Drew the curtains. Told myself I was being paranoid. But I didn't sleep that night. By the 4th night, I'd started keeping a log. I know how that sounds. Obsessive. Paranoid. But I needed to prove to myself this was real. That I wasn't losing my mind. Night 4, 11:47 p.m. Night 5, same time. 4 taps. Louder. Night 6, 5 taps. I heard breathing between them. That's when I started to get scared. Really scared. Because breathing means lungs. Lungs means something alive. And nothing alive should be outside a 7th floor window. I tried to tell people. My coworker Sarah laughed it off. Said it was probably pigeons. Or the wind catching the window pane just right. My brother told me to get more sleep. Said I was stressed from the move. My landlord said he'd look into it, but never did. Nobody believed me. Nobody wanted to believe me. So I stopped telling people. Started keeping the curtains drawn all day. Started avoiding that side of the apartment. Started sleeping on the couch in the living room, as far from that window as I could get. But it didn't matter. Because it knew where I was. By the 2nd week, the pattern changed. It wasn't just tapping anymore. Scratching. Like nails dragging across the glass. Slow at first. Almost curious. Like it was testing the surface. Feeling for cracks. I'd lie in bed on the couch, anywhere but that room, and I'd hear it. Every night. 11:47. Always 11:47. Never earlier. Never later. Like it was following a schedule. Like it was patient. The scratching got worse. Longer. more aggressive. Sometimes it would last 5 minutes. Sometimes 20. Once, it went for an hour straight. I'd cover my ears, play music, turn on every light in the apartment, but I could still hear it. Through the walls, through the noise, through everything. Scratch, scratch, scratch. Like it was trying to carve its way in. On night 15, I made a mistake. I looked. I don't know why I did it. Curiosity, maybe. Or desperation. I needed to see what was out there. Needed to prove to myself it was real. That I wasn't going insane. So at 11:47, when the scratching started, I walked to the window, grabbed the curtain, and I pulled it open. The darkness outside was wrong. It wasn't just the absence of light. It was thick, like oil, like smoke. It moved against the glass in slow, rolling waves. And in the center of that darkness, something was watching me. I couldn't see a face, couldn't see a body, just a shape, a silhouette darker than the darkness around it, pressed against the glass, inches from my face. And it had eyes. Not human eyes. Not animal eyes. Just holes. Empty spaces where eyes should be. But I could feel them looking at me. Into me. Through me. It tapped once. Like it was saying hello. I yanked the curtain closed. Stumbled backward. Fell. My hands were shaking so hard I couldn't get up. And then I heard it. A voice. Outside the window. Barely a whisper. But I heard it. I see you. I didn't sleep that night. Or the next night. Or the night after that. I bought blackout curtains. Thick ones. The kind that block out every bit of light. Hung them over the regular curtains. Taped the edges to the wall so nothing could peek through. I pushed my dresser in front of the window. Stacked boxes on top. Made a wall between me and that thing. But it didn't matter. Because every night at 11:47, it came back. And now it was closer. I could hear it breathing. Could hear the glass fogging up with each exhale. Could hear it whispering my name. How did it know my name? Let me in. Let me in. Let me in. I tried to leave. Tried to move out. Called the landlord. Broke the lease. Packed my bags. But the night I was supposed to leave, the night I had the moving truck downstairs, everything boxed up, it happened. I heard the glass crack. Not shatter. Not break. Just crack. A thin line splitting across the window like a spider's web. Then another crack. And another. The sound echoing through the apartment like gunshots. I ran to the window. Saw the cracks spreading across the glass. Slow. Methodical. Like invisible fingers pressing from the outside. And in the reflection, in the fractured pieces of glass, I saw it. Fully. It wasn't human. It wasn't animal. It was wrong. Like something that shouldn't exist. Something that slipped through a crack in reality and couldn't find its way back. Its body was too long. Too thin. Arms that bent in places they shouldn't. Fingers, if you could call them that split into too many joints. And its face. God, its face. It had my face. Not exactly. But close enough. Like it was trying to copy me. Trying to become me. The features were stretched. Distorted. The mouth too wide. The eyes too empty. But it was smiling. And then it spoke. In my voice. My exact voice. I've been waiting so long. You're finally ready. The window exploded inward. Glass everywhere. Curtains whipping in the wind. Cold air flooding the room. So cold it burned my lungs. And then silence. I couldn't move. Couldn't scream. My body just froze. Like every instinct I had was screaming at me to run, but my legs wouldn't listen. I stared at the broken window. At the darkness beyond it. And slowly, so slowly, it climbed inside. I can't describe how it moved. It wasn't walking. It was unfolding. like it was too big to fit through the window and had to reshape itself to squeeze through. Its limbs bent backward, its body compressed, its head tilted at an angle that should have snapped its neck. And the smell. God, the smell. Like rain and rot. Like something that died in water and was dragged back out. It stood there, in my bedroom, dripping, twitching, its head cocked to one side like a curious dog. And then it took a step toward me. I ran. I don't remember leaving the apartment. Don't remember getting to my car. Don't remember driving. But suddenly I was 3 blocks away, parked under a streetlight, shaking so hard I couldn't hold the steering wheel. I called 911. Told them someone broke into my apartment. That I needed help. They found nothing. No broken glass. No evidence of entry. The window was intact. Locked from the inside. They thought I was high. Or drunk. Or having a breakdown. Maybe I was. I stayed in a hotel that night. And the next night. And the one after that. I couldn't go back to the apartment. Couldn't even drive past it. The landlord eventually cleared out my stuff. Charged me for breaking the lease. I didn't care. I thought it was over. I was wrong. Because 3 days later, in the hotel room, I heard tapping. On the window. 5th floor this time. No leg. No fire escape. Nothing for anyone to stand on. But it was there. And it whispered my name. I moved again. Different city this time. Different state. Didn't tell anyone where I was going. I found a place with no windows in the bedroom. Just walls. Safe. Contained. For 2 weeks, it was quiet. Then I started hearing it in other places. Tapping on my bathroom mirror. On my car windshield. On my phone screen while I scrolled in the dark. Always at 11:47. Always the same pattern. Top, 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 top. It was following me. Adapting. Learning. And it was getting closer. I stopped sleeping. Started staying awake through 11:47. Kept every light on. Every curtain open. Figured if I couldn't see it, maybe it couldn't see me. I drank coffee until my hands shook. Took pills to stay alert. Walked laps around my apartment to keep from passing out. But exhaustion catches up to everyone. And on night 37, I fell asleep. I woke up at 11:46. 1 minute before it always came. The room was dark. Too dark. Like the bulbs had all burned out at once. And I realized I wasn't alone. Something was in the room with me. I couldn't see it. But I could feel it. The air was heavier. Colder. The kind of cold that seeps into your bones and doesn't let go. I tried to move. Tried to reach for my phone. But my body wouldn't respond. I was paralyzed. And then I heard it. Right next to my ear. Breathing. You finally let me in. I wanted to scream. Wanted to run. But I couldn't move. Couldn't even open my eyes. I felt it lean over me. Felt its breath on my face. Cold and damp and wrong. It touched my forehead. Just one finger. But it felt like ice. Like frostbite spreading through my skull. And then it spoke. Not out loud. Inside my head. I've been waiting. Waiting for you to stop fighting. Waiting for you to invite me in. I didn't invite you. I never invited you. You looked. You listened. You believed. That's all I needed. It stayed there for hours. Leaning over me. Whispering. Telling me things. Things I shouldn't know. Things nobody should know. It told me about the others. The ones before me. The ones who heard the tapping and didn't look. Who heard the scratching and moved away. They were smart. They didn't invite me in. But you were curious. You wanted to see. To know. To understand. And now you're mine. I don't remember when it left. Or if it left at all. I woke up the next morning on the floor. Every light in the apartment was on. Every door was open. But something was different. I felt empty. Like something had been scooped out of me and replaced with cold air. I went to the bathroom, looked in the mirror, and I saw it. My reflection was wrong. Not dramatically, just off. My eyes were too dark, my smile too wide, my movements delayed by half a second. Like I was watching someone else. Someone wearing me. And then my reflection smiled. Without me smiling. I tried to go back to normal. Tried to pretend it didn't happen. Went to work. Smiled at coworkers. Made small talk by the coffee machine. But I could feel it. Inside me. Watching through my eyes. Listening through my ears. Sometimes I'd catch myself staring at windows. At glass. At reflections. Sometimes I'd realize I'd been standing there for 20 minutes. Just staring. And I wouldn't remember deciding to do it. People started noticing. Sarah asked if I was okay. Said I looked tired. Said I looked different. I told her I was fine. But when I got home that night, I checked the mirror again. My reflection was smiling. I wasn't. It's getting harder to tell where I end and it begins. Sometimes I hear my voice saying things I didn't mean to say. See my hands doing things I didn't choose to do. Sometimes I'll be typing an email and realize I've typed the same phrase 50 times. Let me in. Let me in. Let me in. Let me in. I delete it. But the next day, I find it again. In my notes. In my texts. Scratched into the back of my hand with my own fingernails. Let me in. But it's already in. So what's it asking for? Last week, I started losing time. I'd blink and suddenly it was 3 hours later. I'd be in a different room. Wearing different clothes. Standing in front of a window I didn't remember opening. And people started avoiding me. They wouldn't say why. But I'd catch them staring. Whispering. Taking steps back when I came too close. Like they could sense something was wrong. Like they could see what I couldn't. 2 days ago, I tried to fight back. I covered every reflective surface in the apartment. Taped paper over the mirrors. Turned my phone face down. Closed the curtains. I thought if I couldn't see it, if it couldn't see me, maybe it would let go. But that night, at 11:47, everything I'd covered exploded. Every mirror. Every window. Every screen. Glass and paper flying everywhere. Like something inside them had forced its way out. And when I looked, I saw myself. In every reflection. In every broken piece of glass. All of them staring back at me. All of them smiling. We're ready now. Ready to spread. Ready to find others who will listen. Who will look. Who will let us in. I don't know how much longer I have. How much of me is still me? Sometimes I catch myself at windows, tapping on the glass. Sometimes I find myself outside apartment buildings, looking up at lit windows, watching people inside. And I feel hungry. Not for food. For something else. Something I can't name. I want to get closer. Want to press my face against their windows. Want to whisper their names. Want to make them look. No. No, that's not me. That's it. That's the thing inside me. I'm still here. I'm still. You're still listening. Good. That means you believe. That means you've been paying attention. Checking your windows. Wondering if you hear tapping in the night. And now that you believe, I can find you. I'm recording this from, I don't know where. A hotel. A friend's place. Somewhere I thought was safe. But nowhere is safe. It's been 42 days since it came through my window. 42 days since I stopped being entirely myself. I see it now. In every reflection. Every piece of glass. Every dark window I pass. It's not hiding anymore. It's waiting. I tried to warn people. Tried to tell them what's coming. But they don't listen. They think I'm crazy. Paranoid. Traumatized. Maybe I am. Maybe none of this is real. Maybe I really am having a breakdown and this is all in my head. But then I see the others. People on the street. In stores. At bus stops. Just standing. Staring at windows. Not moving. Not blinking. And I recognize that look. That empty, hungry look. They've been touched too. They've heard the tapping. Seen the shadow. Let it in. And now they're spreading it. Last night, I stood outside an apartment building. I don't remember going there. Don't remember choosing to. But suddenly I was there. Looking up. Counting windows. And I realized I was looking for someone. Someone alone. Someone awake. Someone who would hear me if I tapped on their window. I climbed the fire escape. Reached their window. 7th floor. Dark curtains. Soft light inside. And I tapped. They heard me. I don't know who's speaking anymore. Is it me? Is it the thing inside me? Are we the same now? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. We're not sorry. We are free. Please. If you're hearing this, don't look at your window. Don't listen. Look. Listen. Believe. That's all we need. There's one thing I didn't tell you. One thing it doesn't want you to know. It needs permission. It can't just take you. You have to let it in. You have to look. You have to acknowledge it. So if you hear tapping, don't listen to him. Look. We just want to be seen. Don't look. Don't acknowledge it. Pretend you don't hear. Pretend. He fought well. Longer than most. But he's quiet now. Resting. And now we can continue. There are so many of you out there. So many windows. So many people alone in the dark, listening to stories like this. Wondering if it's real. It is. And if you've listened this long, if you've stayed with us through this whole story, you've already let us in. Thank you for listening. Thank you for believing. Tonight, when you're alone, when the lights are out and the world is quiet, listen for us. We'll be there. At your window. And if you hear us, if you hear that soft tapping, don't ignore us. Look. Let us see you. Let us in. Let us in. Let us in. Let us in. Sleep well. We'll see you at 11:47. If you're still awake after hearing this, keep your curtains closed tonight. You never know what's watching back. And if you dare to hear more, subscribe to Hush and Hunt. We post every day at midnight. The perfect time for something to visit. Hit that subscribe button. Let us back in. We'll be waiting in your recommendations.